I had to share some of this gorgeous summer sunshine with you. Summer. I'm thinking of my Northern Hemisphere friends. It's winter here in Australia. If you're listening in on the podcast later on, I apologise that you won't get to see the glorious imagery of this beautiful winter's day here in Hobart. And it always lifts my spirits to sit outside in the sunshine whenever I can find a little bit of it, especially in winter. I wanted to share with you a little of what happened after the very open and vulnerable live stream I did yesterday, where I spoke quite openly about how hard it can be to be open and to be vulnerable and to be real. And I wanted to share with you the consequences, for want of a better word, of having done that yesterday. I wanted to share with you how it has felt for me since doing that live stream yesterday, and I wanted you to take away today something that I hope will be something for you to reflect on over the weekend. So if you missed yesterday's live stream, it is now available on the podcast for you to listen to, the Finding Proof podcast. It's available on YouTube, and it's also, of course, available here on Facebook. It was a bit messy, it was a bit emotional, and the response I had actually floored me. People reached out in a way that wasn't what I feared it would be. And the fear I had, initially, of course, the fear was criticism. But then the fear I had was that it would be turned into a "you okay" test. It would be turned into missing the point. It would be turned into it being about me and my sadness rather than my message of being brave enough to be vulnerable and how I had been struggling with that. So the reaching out that happened after the live stream was all about gratitude. It was all about the thank yous that I received. And some of these were public expressions of thanks. So, if you're looking on Facebook, you'll see some of these public comments. And the one that really stood out to me was Martha telling me she needed to pull over because she was in tears herself, listening to the emotion in what I spoke about. Martha features in many of my stories about mentoring. I think I didn't expect that I would hit such a common chord with so many. I didn't expect that you would all reach out as openly and courageously as you did. I received private messages from people who were in other businesses, in other business fields, thanking me for being so open and vulnerable and inspiring them to go back to their own businesses and be more open and vulnerable with their business team members and the way they do things. So it's left this wonderful ball of grateful contemplation for me of a lesson well learned. So it all started with a very difficult conversation that I had to rumble with yesterday, to use Brene Brown's language. A bit of truth talking delivered to me by my agent, and telling me that I was hiding and not being authentic and open enough, and therefore his words were, it was shameful that I would be like that if my message is about finding proof within yourself that you've got the courage, you've already got everything you need to go forward and conquer your business, your goals, whatever it is in your life. And if I can't demonstrate that I can dig deep and use the courage that I've got inside me, then I'm fraudulent. And that is a shameful thing. So it was a very tricky conversation. It came from a place of love. It came from a place of wanting me to be better because he knows that I can be better. But it connected a lot of dots for me. So on the one hand, being able to see laid out in front of me all of these wonderful comments and private messages around gratitude, around thanking me for paving the way for you to be more vulnerable in what you're doing. And role modelling, I guess, that the sky doesn't fall in when we do this. The sky is still, it's a beautiful day. The sky is stunningly gorgeous today. And in fact, oh no, there's some clouds. I was going to say, not a cloud in the sky. If I look straight up, there's not a cloud in the sky. The sky is still standing. And the big fear that underpinned a lot of my reluctance to be vulnerable, fear of rejection, which has a great big thread right back to my childhood, didn't manifest. And in fact, all of the people who commented, some of them are people I know well, some of them are people whose names I only vaguely know because they might like the occasional thing I do on Facebook. Some of them were people I'd never heard of before. And to me, I hope that by being able to connect the dots about how it is safe to stand up to the people that don't matter, to stand up and say, this is my truth, this is where I stand, and this is what I stand for. And just realise that the people who do matter, the people who are listening, the people who you are demonstrating something to are the ones who are going to hear that message from their own place of truth. And that's where we connect. That is where we connect, from our own place of truth. And that is so important, don't you think? Otherwise, what's it all about? You know, why are we here? I can't remember whether it was Gary Vaynerchuk or whether it was Hank Norman or, I don't know, one of those blokes that I follow on social media who said something along the lines of this stuff. If we're not doing it for the benefit of others, if we're only doing it for the benefit of ourselves, then it's just masturbation. And it is so true. So for me, the dots that got connected yesterday were all about recognising that if I'm not standing up in truth, then I'm letting people down. And so that was my message. So I'm very grateful that there wasn't a pat on the head and are you okay, Tess? I'm very grateful that I have an audience that I can speak truthfully to. Sorry about the wind if it's messing up with the noise, with sound quality. And I'm very grateful that, you know, some tough love was delivered to me yesterday morning, and it made sense of a sense of disquiet that I'd actually been feeling for a little while, probably about a month. I reckon the last month I'd been particularly feeling uncomfortable in my own skin, that there was something that there was a mark I wasn't quite reaching. Not about perfectionism in any sense of the word, absolutely about truth, absolutely about courage and vulnerability and all those things that so many of us stand for, and I know you stand for. So, the consequences of speaking my truth were purely positive. Now, it's only 24 hours, and there may be some naysayers, but they can't touch me now. They can't touch me, they can't touch you, because by demonstrating that we are receptive to people's vulnerability, by demonstrating that we can support people when they're vulnerable, and by demonstrating that we can be vulnerable and be heard, we're a tribe to be reckoned with. We are a bunch of people that are quite powerful in our own right because we stand in truth together. And that's what I'm grateful for. So thank you to all of you who have been on this journey of rediscovery in the last 24 hours, and thank you for those who are yet to discover this video I'm referring to. Please feel free to go watch and let me know what you think. And thank you to those people who have given me adversity along the way, because they are the people that, you know, I yesterday demonstrated my very special middle finger colour, and I also have this, which has the word defiant stamped on it. They are the people that spur me on to just prove time and again that I won't be knocked down, not for long anyway. So, happy Friday to you. Have a wonderful weekend. Go forward in truth and courage and vulnerability. And I look forward to talking to you again very, very soon. My hashtag test bomb seems to be taking hold, at least in my head. And it is inspiring me to drop bombs of truth. And I'm aiming to do that most days. So we'll see what comes. Looking forward to more of the same. Bye for now.